Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about 50 tiny ways that you can simplify your life. Each one of these alone might not transform your life, but in combination, they can have a massive impact and help you appreciate how life can be better with less. And today's video is an extra special one because it's actually in collaboration with Megan Livingstone. And if you aren't already familiar with Megan's channel, Megan is a certified holistic nutritionist, and on her channel she shares some incredible videos on simple, intentional living, as well as how to lead a healthy, holistic lifestyle. So for this collab, I'll be sharing 25 ways that you can simplify your life. And then afterwards, be sure to check out Megan's video where you can see 25 more ideas of tiny ways that you can simplify. So be sure to subscribe and let her know that I sent you. And if you're here for the first time or you're coming from Megan's video, hi, my name is Ashlynne, and I make videos every week on this channel about minimalism, decluttering, and intentional living. So if that sounds interesting to you, be sure to subscribe below. But now let's get into this. Here are 25 easy ways to simplify. And let's get started with the first way to simplify, and that is to take breaks. I think that oftentimes we can get so caught up in going from activity to activity, from task to task, that we can forget to take breaks. But breaks are actually essential to our productivity and our sanity. If you struggle with taking breaks, one really easy method you can start implementing today is to just start setting a timer for 50 minutes, during which time you can work and be productive, and then just take a break and rest for 10 minutes. Something that I'll often do during those periods of breaking is make a tea or get some water, stand up and stretch. Just having that reminder to every so often take a break can be really helpful in not only increasing your productivity, because when we're well rested, we're able to do more in less time, but also it's fantastic just for your mental health and clarity throughout the day. Number 2 is to lay out your clothing the night before. And personally, I am not much of a morning person. My brain is functioning at a far higher level before I go to bed than right after I wake up. And if that sounds like you, laying out your clothes the night before can be a fantastic way to simplify just because you're making one less decision in the morning. It's an easy step you can take just to streamline your morning routine and make getting ready that much easier. Number 3 is to set screen time limits, and if you often find yourself scrolling on social media for hours on end, this can be a fantastic way to limit your overall screen time use as well as your use of specific apps. And this is a really simple task that takes less than 5 minutes to do, but it can have a tremendous impact on your ability to use your phone just that much more intentionally. Next up, number 4 is to carry less with you when you leave the house. And do you have a Mary Poppins purse that can carry everything you could ever possibly need and more whenever you leave the house? When we carry tons and tons of things with us, not only is it way more than we actually need, but oftentimes the purse or the backpack that we're carrying in it can cause us pretty severe back and neck pain. So if you often find yourself carrying literally your entire life with you, try editing down what you bring with you when you go out the door to only the essentials. Once again, this isn't something that takes long to do, but the sense of freedom that it provides is huge. Moving on, number 5 is to hide cords where possible. And visual clutter is something that can often distract us without our consciously realizing it. When we live in a visually cluttered space though, it does become harder for us to focus and becomes much easier for us to get distracted. And so whenever possible, hiding cords is an easy way to reduce the visual clutter and just create a more clean and tidy space. Number 6 is to create an outfit formula. And if you ever find yourself wasting time deciding what to wear each day, an outfit formula can be a fantastic way just to simplify that decision-making process. So the way an outfit formula works is that you pick a clothing combination that works well for you, that you have enough options for you to be able to mix and match pieces, and something that's going to be versatile in the sense that you always feel good while wearing it, but it's also translates to a number of different activities that you regularly do. So for example, my outfit formula includes putting on a t-shirt, a basic pair of high-waisted skinny jeans, and a cardigan. It's easy, it's simple, but it's something that I can come back to time and time again. Number 7 is a great one for introducing simplicity into your digital space, and that's to spend 5 minutes a day culling unwanted pictures on your phone. And pictures are such an incredible way of being able to preserve memories, but it's important important that our pictures are something that we actually want to look back on. Unfortunately, one side effect of having the ability to take pictures on our phones is that we no longer value images nearly as much as we used to. So we'll often have 15,000 or more pictures sitting on our phones. And I don't know about you, but for me personally, most of those pictures aren't necessarily something that I need to look back on. And so trying to go through and declutter 15,000 pictures at once may seem overwhelming, but if you just spend 5 minutes a day going through and decluttering those photos that you don't necessarily need to look back on 20 years from now, it can be an easy and fun way to reduce the pictures on your phone to only the best of the best. Those memories that you want to have 20, 30, or 50 years from now. Number 8 is to carry a water bottle with you wherever you go. And personally, staying hydrated always used to be something that I struggled with until I started carrying a water bottle with me everywhere. Water is something that is so incredibly important to our health and overall functionality. And so carrying a water bottle with you is just one small way of making the process of remembering to drink water a bit easier. Okay, number 9 is to single focus. As humans, we can only truly dedicate focus to one thing properly at once. Yes, we might be able to do multiple things like listen to a podcast while vacuuming, but our focus can only be in one place at a time. And when we divide that focus across multiple things at once, what we're actually doing is spending a little bit of time focusing on this, then hopping to this, focusing on that for a little bit, and that's reducing our overall productivity as we jump from focus point to focus point to focus point. So instead, what I'd encourage you to do is to try to focus on one thing wholly at a time. What you'll find is that when you switch from trying to focus on multiple things at once to just focusing on one thing at a time, you'll not only be more productive with the time that you have because your attention is fully directed just at one thing, but you'll find that you're less worn out by the work that you're doing because your brain isn't having to work as hard and jumping from focus point to focus point all the time. Number 10 is to remember to breathe. And when we get emotional or stressed, our first reaction is often to forget to breathe. We begin taking short, shallow breaths that aren't giving us the oxygen we need to be able to think clearly, to articulate our thoughts, or to just react appropriately. And so when you find yourself in a position when you're feeling emotional or stressed, take a step back and begin taking some long, deep breaths. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Taking deep, clearing breaths when you're in a compromised emotional state can be an incredible way to just reset your headspace and get you to a place where you're ready to respond and react to whatever is going on appropriately. Number 11 is to unsubscribe from unwanted email lists. And one helpful tool I've found for going through this process is the website unroll.me. And with it, you can simply plug in your email information and it will show you a list of not only what email lists you're subscribed to, but it also has an easy feature for being able to click a button and unenroll. So simple. Okay, number 12 is to batch your work. Batching work is an easy way of organizing tasks and activities in a way that makes sense. By focusing on all of the like tasks that we have at once, we're able to be more focused and productive during that time. So a few ideas for how you might be able to batch your work on a daily basis would be to respond to all emails for the day at once. So you can definitely apply this at work, but it can be really helpful when applied to the home as well. For example, when you're making dinner, you can try chopping up all of the food before moving on to the assembly stage. That way you're getting it all done at once and you're not switching from one task to another. So batching really is a powerful concept and it's one that can save you literally hours of time each week. Number 13 is to go for a walk. And often when we spend too much time indoors, it becomes really easy for us to get in our own heads. And so developing the habit of going for daily walks can be an incredible way just to clear your head, to reset your focus, as well as get some exercise. Number 14 is to close out of the tabs on your computer. I think sometimes we have it in our heads that if we have all of these tabs open, it will be easier for us to find things when we actually need them. But what ends up happening in reality is that we spend far more time searching around for, oh wait, where was this tab again? Than we would take if we were simply to type into the search bar of our computer or look in our bookmarks for exactly the tab that we needed. This is one of those small ways that less is actually more, and by reducing the number of tabs that we have open on our computers, you'll find that you're less distracted while working and that when you actually need to open up a tab, it'll be faster for you to actually open it up. Number 15 is to keep healthy snacks on hand, and if you know that you're the type of person who likes to have something to snack on throughout the day, keeping healthy snacks on hand beforehand and planning ahead in that way can be a fantastic way of making sure that you're not, number one, resorting to snacking on anything that's going to be unhealthy for you, but also that you're not wasting time having to prepare a full-on meal when all you really needed was some carrots and hummus or some apple and almond butter. Number 16 is to speak kindly, and this applies to yourself as well as to others. Practicing this is a simple way to limit negativity and focus on becoming a more positive person. For many of us, our first inclination is to focus on the things that we dislike about ourselves or that annoy us about others. But by intentionally focusing on the positives, we can increase our personal levels of happiness and our overall enjoyment of life. Okay, moving on. Number 17 is to turn off notifications. And I have a simple equation for you. Fewer distractions equals greater presence. And obviously some distractions in life are inevitable, but when it comes to our phones, we can significantly reduce or even eliminate altogether the distractions that come from our notifications. Just go to your phone's notification center and turn off the notifications for anything that isn't essential. For me, the only things that are essential notifications on my phone are phone calls, FaceTime videos, and texts. On every other app, I try to ensure that I'm not going to be receiving a buzz from any kind of notification. Number 18 is to write a to-do list before going to bed, and something that often keeps us awake or unable to sleep restfully late into the evening is us focusing on the things that we need to accomplish the next day. This often results in our brains having a hard time shutting off because our minds are constantly trying to remind us, oh, don't forget to do this, don't forget to do this, don't forget to do this. And so writing down those thoughts before going to bed and getting that to-do list on paper can be a fantastic way of freeing up your brain from trying to focus on what you need to remember to do to being able to focus on getting the sleep and the rest that it needs. Number 19 is to shop less, and buying less is a really easy way that you can reduce the amount of clutter that you're bringing into your home, as well as saving you time and money. And so one easy way that you can begin to buy less is whenever you go to buy something, just ask yourself the two questions: will I use it? And do I love it? They're two simple questions, but if you begin asking them before making purchasing decisions, you'll find that you're able to make much more intentional choices, as well as overall be buying less. Number 20 is to set boundaries. And if you constantly find yourself saying yes to everything someone asks you to do, now is the time to learn to set boundaries so that you can protect your time and be able to pursue your priorities. The idea behind this one is to know your capacity so that you're not stretching yourself too thin. So we want to say no to the obligations and opportunities that won't serve us so that we can then say yes to the ones that will. Number 21 is to eat more slowly, and many of us have the tendency of devouring our foods or being distracted while eating and being on our phones during that time. But I want to encourage you to turn eating into a mindful practice. Not only is this going to be healthier for you in that it's going to improve your digestion, but it's also going to help you to enjoy the process of eating more. And going back to breaks, taking time to enjoy your food can be a natural break that you incorporate into your day to help simplify. Number 22 is a bit of a practical one, but it's to opt for easy to care for plants. And plants are beautiful, but they can sometimes be challenging to take care of and can be a time-consuming task. So unless plants are your hobby and you thrive and get a ton of enjoyment from taking care of each plant you have, opting for easy to care for plants that require minimal attention can be an easy way to simplify and just reduce the amount of time that you're spending worrying about your plants. A couple plants that I found particularly easy to care for include snake plants, money plants, aloe, and fiddle leaf figs. Next up, number 23 is to put your phone on airplane mode or turn it off. And particularly when you're working on projects that require your maximum focus, or perhaps when you're trying to sleep, it is incredibly important that we're not getting distracted by notifications, even things like calls and texts. And so putting your phone on airplane mode or turning it off entirely during these times can ensure that you're able to focus completely on the task at hand and are able to engage in deep work. Putting your phone into airplane mode requires just the click of a button, but it really can enhance your focus. Okay, number 24 is to clean your desk. Over the course of the day, our desks can often be cluttered up, and so by taking a few minutes at the end of each day to just clear that space, you're able to create a reset so the next day you can enter into your workspace in a non-distracting, uncluttered environment that's immediately going to allow you to jump into your work with focus. And then finally, number 25 is to declutter duplicates. And oftentimes, without our even realizing it, duplicates of certain items that we own will just creep into our lives. Whether we have 2 of the same DVD or book, or maybe we have 2 potato peelers and only need 1. As you come across duplicates that you don't need, just set 1 copy aside so that you can donate or discard it later. And a quick tip for making this easier is to set aside a donation box somewhere in your house that you can just put things into, and once it gets to a certain level, you can go through and act on all of the items at once. So that's it. Those are 25 tiny ways that you can simplify your life, and let me know in the comments what's one small thing that you do on a routine basis to simplify. Comment that down below, and be sure to check out Megan's video for 25 more ways that you can simplify your life. And don't forget to subscribe to her channel when you check it out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video though, and if you did, be sure to hit that subscribe button below for more minimalism, decluttering, and intentional living content coming at you twice a week. That's all I've got for you today though. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.